Divinely revealed. 7. Miraculous reasons why rest can manifest guilt and supernatural blessings. In the heart of Nottingham's busiest church, Sarah, a devoted mother of 3, sat heavy with guilt. She was overwhelmed, her life a constant whirlwind of caring for her children, meeting work deadlines, and attending endless church meetings. As she knelt, the wooden pew creaked beneath her, echoing her tired thoughts. Suddenly, a wave of light enveloped her, illuminating the dark shadows of doubt. It felt as if heaven had opened its gates just for her, whispering, "Rest, dear one, and discover the miracles waiting for you." That week, the prayer group buzzed with tales of miraculous blessings that appeared in the spaces of rest. A woman shared how stepping back from her daily hustle allowed her to finally hear God's voice clearly, leading her to new opportunities. Another spoke of how a gentle weekend retreat brought healing to her daughter, who had struggled for years. Sparks of hope filled the room as Sarah listened, her heart racing with the urgency of their faith. The pastor, with a voice filled with divine assurance, declared, "Rest is not a retreat from God, but a gateway to His blessings." Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. For Sarah, these words echoed like a distant melody, stirring something deep within her. Yet, when she approached John about her desire to find spiritual renewal through rest, he frowned. "Rest? We don't have time for that," he replied, confidence swelling in his voice. Busyness was his badge of honor. "We must get things done." His voice rang with authority, clashing with Sarah's new yearnings. Tension crackled in their home as her heart wrestled with the desire for faith and the reality of their daily struggles. Just when Sarah began to lean into the idea of rest, her world shattered. Little David, her youngest, fell ill. Panic twisted her heart as traditional treatments failed one after another. Nights turned into endless hours of worry, her faith flickering like a candle in a storm. The pastor's hopeful message felt hollow as she grasped at solutions, her spirit burdened by darkness. Then came a weekend retreat, a last-ditch effort to regain hope. In the serene atmosphere of the church hall, surrounded by the warmth of her faith community, a stranger approached her. Her eyes glistened with a divine light as she uttered a simple phrase, "Trust fully in His plan. The miracle is coming." It ignited a spark within Sarah. In that moment of connection, she felt walls break down as a flood of clarity washed over her. With renewed determination, Sarah dove into prayer, taking the first steps toward letting go. It was incredible how God began to weave miracles through her life. Small blessings sprouted like spring flowers, kind words from neighbors, unexpected help, and calming moments with her children. Yet just as peace began to settle in, David's health took another downward turn. The pastor's words haunted her thoughts once again. Can surrender truly lead to the miracle you seek? Lost in this chaos, Sarah clutched her son's small hand, feeling the weight of her faith hanging in the balance. What would she choose, the path of fear or the road of divine trust? With her heart pounding, she found herself at the edge of a decision, waiting for a flicker of faith amidst the storm. In the stillness of that moment, Sarah's heart wrestled with the tumultuous waves of uncertainty. The room around her faded. The whispers of her faith community lingered like a soothing balm. She looked at David's fragile face, a gentle reminder of all the love she poured into him, even amidst her other responsibilities. Every line of worry etched on her brow felt like a personal challenge from God. Will you trust me? With her breath caught in her throat, Sarah closed her eyes, drawing on the warm memories of worship, praise, and prayer. She remembered the stories of miraculous healings shared over the years, the countless testimonies of faith that had inspired her, many from ordinary people like herself. As she opened her heart once more to God, she felt an undeniable pull to surrender, a sweet release beckoning her to lay down her burdens at Jesus' feet. "Lord," she whispered, her pulse gradually steadying, "I trust you." It was a simple act of faith, yet it felt monumental. She visualized her worries transforming into silvery threads, weaving together the fabric of hope. Each concern dissipated, released into the heavenly expanse, while gratitude flooded her spirit. Suddenly, the warmth enveloping her became more palpable, as if a divine embrace was welcoming her into a place of peace. A flicker of understanding blossomed within. Perhaps surrender wasn't just an act of relinquishing control, but a path to deeper intimacy with her Creator. In this sacred surrender, she felt David's hand wrapped tightly around hers, strong, lucid, and full of life. Later that evening, gathering her family around the dinner table felt different. With each bite, Sarah sought to infuse their meal with love and presence. Storytelling filled the air with laughter, a gentle reminder of the joy found in simple moments. John noticed her change. A radiant glow ignited her countenance. As they talked, she very carefully shared her newfound understanding of rest, her voice steady and warm. "What if we see rest, not as a pause, but as a divine invitation to tap into God's blessings?" she asked, her eyes searching his. John remained quiet for a moment, the tension still present, but less pronounced. "What do you mean?" he finally replied, curiosity threading through his skepticism. With the courage kindled within her, Sarah recounted her retreat experience and the words of the stranger. "I felt hope for the first time in a long while. I know it's hard for you, hard for both of us, but what if we rested together? We could invite God to reshape our understanding of how we engage with our lives and each other." John studied her with a mix of disbelief and intrigue. "I suppose there's no harm in trying," he replied cautiously. The next morning, Sarah awoke with renewed vigor. David's small frame seemed to radiate warmth as she checked on him. The thought of taking a day for themselves, just to nestle into the embrace of love and laughter, made her heart quicken. She envisioned their day filled with restful blessings, moments of prayer interspersed with fun activities. But just as they prepared for this pause, the phone rang, dragging Sarah back into the whirlwind of her worries. It was the doctor calling with results. "We need to discuss David's health." The words hung in the air, heavy and charged. As Sarah listened, a new wave of fear washed over her. But alongside that fear was the quiet but fierce glow of her commitment to trust. "God, even now, I choose you. Lead me." The decision loomed large on the horizon. Would she continue to seek rest despite the storm raging outside? As the doctor's voice faded, a revelation began to stir deep within her spirit. Sometimes, the path to miraculous encounters unfolds through the act of resting in his presence. What awaited them might change everything. And so, the question lingered in the air. Would Sarah's family embrace this new journey toward faith, or would they wade through the challenges of their fears instead? As Sarah hung up the phone, the stillness around her felt like a fragile glass teetering on the edge of a table. The world seemed to hold its breath, waiting for her next move. The echo of the doctor's words pulsed in her ears. Yet amidst that chaos, she clung to the promise that in surrendering to God, she might find rest in the storm. "Focus, Sarah," she murmured to herself, shaking off the grasp of fear. She took a deep breath, envisioning the silvery threads of her worries once again. With each exhale, she made a choice to weave love and faith into the fabric of her family's lives, even now. "John, David," she called softly, hoping to draw them into the warmth of her resolve. They shuffled into the room, a mixture of curiosity and concern on their faces. "Let's pray," she suggested, and the words felt like an anchor, grounding them amidst uncertainty. As they formed a circle, Sarah felt a rising tide of unity wash over them. David leaned into her side, and she could feel his small body radiating warmth, a comforting presence amidst uncertainty. She guided them through a prayer, her voice steady even as her heart raced. With each word lifted to heaven, she offered up her worries for David's health and for the future that seemed increasingly clouded. Lord, help us rest in you. Help us trust even when we're scared, she whispered, the sincerity pouring from her heart. The family sat in reflective silence for a moment after the amen, connected in spirit. It was John who eventually broke the stillness. "You know what's interesting?" he began, his brow furrowing slightly as he spoke. "Just yesterday, a co-worker mentioned the power of rest. He described it as a spiritual recharge, a way to hear God clearer." Sarah felt a spark of hope as she caught John's gaze, realizing there was a flicker of understanding blossoming within him. The idea of rest as a sacred gift rather than an indulgence was starting to resonate. Exactly. What if every moment we take to rest is a moment where God can engage with us, reveal himself deeper? David, sensing the shift in energy, piped up, "Can we have fun and rest too?" His innocent question held the weight of truth. Joy and rest need not be opposing forces. "Absolutely, buddy," Sarah replied, an unstoppable smile forming. "Rest can be as simple as enjoying a sunny afternoon in the backyard, or laughter shared over board games." John nodded, a look of revelation washing over him. Maybe this is more than just physically resting. It's about reconnecting, with each other, with God. In that moment, the heaviness of their situation seemed to lighten ever so slightly. The cloud of fear still lingered, but it was now peppered with the gentle light of hope. Could something beautiful emerge from this? As the day unraveled before them, they stepped outside for fresh air. The sun spilled golden rays on their faces, and Sarah felt her heart swelling with gratitude. Laughter came easily as they played, deepening bonds that would carry them through the toughest times. With each moment spent in joy, a rising sense of peace began to enfold them, like a soft blanket woven from their shared faith. But a whisper still lingered beneath the surface. A question hung in the air. What would the doctor's revelations bring forth? Could their efforts to embrace rest really manifest the miraculous? And so, as clouds painted the sunset sky, Sarah found herself entangled in divine mystery. The road ahead was uncertain, yet enveloped in a blanket of faith they dared to tread, bringing them closer to the very miracles they sought. Would they find the strength to persist through trials yet to come? Or would the shadows of doubt threaten to overshadow their journey? The following morning brought with it the freshness of hope, as golden rays of sunlight poured into Sarah's kitchen. The aroma of coffee filled the air, mingling with the soft sound of birds chirping outside. She stood by the window, watching the world awaken, feeling a sense of renewal stirring within her heart. Perhaps the night had offered more than just rest. It had wrapped her in God's peace. "Mom, can we have pancakes today?" David's sweet voice broke the silence, drawing her back to the warmth of her home. "Of course, sweetie," she replied, turning with a smile that felt like sunshine. She started mixing the ingredients, her hands moving almost on autopilot while her mind danced with grateful thoughts. John entered, his hair tousled and a sleepy grin on his face. "Did I hear pancakes?" he asked, his eyes lighting up at the prospect. Sarah chuckled softly. "You sure did. They'll be ready in a jiffy. Are you excited about the park today?" Even amid uncertainty, the family's plans to spend the day at the park felt like a beacon of joy. Laughter and the delightful smell of cooking pancakes soon filled the kitchen, dancing around them like playful angels. After breakfast, they set out, the sun shining brightly. As they arrived at the park, David dashed ahead, his little legs carrying him to the playground. Sarah watched him, heart swelling with gratitude for the little moments that seemed so ordinary, yet felt sacred. "Look at him," John said, leaning close. It's amazing how fast he runs. This morning feels different somehow." Sarah nodded, her heart echoing his sentiment. "It does. It feels lighter. Like God is reminding us to enjoy life, even amidst the storm." As they played, joy erupted from their souls. Each squeal of laughter from David rang like harmonious music, a melody that pierced through the clouds of worry that had once shrouded them. Sarah joined in the fun, her worries momentarily forgotten. But nestled in the back of her mind, the doctor's words hung like a pendulum, reminding her of the fragility of their circumstances. The question lingered: could joy and uncertainty exist side by side? She took a deep breath, holding on to the faith that was slowly building within her. In a quieter moment, as David slid down the shiny metal slide, Sarah found herself wandering to a nearby bench where an older woman sat knitting. Their eyes met, and something in the woman's smile felt familiar, comforting. "Enjoying the day, dear?" the woman asked, her voice soft but strong. "Yes, it's been beautiful," Sarah replied, genuinely. The woman nodded knowingly. "Life has a way of crafting miracles amid chaos. I've seen it more times than I can count. You and your family will be embraced by God's love, dear. Just believe." A warm feeling washed over Sarah at those words. It felt as though this stranger had seen into her heart, an unexpected encouragement in the midst of her fears. Later, while David played nearby, Sarah turned her gaze to John. "What if each moment spent in joy is bringing us closer to the healing we're praying for?" she posed, wanting to share the insight she'd received. John pondered this, a thoughtful look crossing his face. "It's like each laugh, each moment of peace could be a brick in the foundation of our hope." As they sat there, a sudden breeze lifted, swirling around them like a gentle embrace, carrying whispers of divine assurance. A moment of hope flickered, and they held it close, surrounded by the warmth of their love and faith. Yet still, as they played through the evening light, a sense of anticipation loomed, a promise almost tangible. Would this newfound understanding truly shape the trials to come? The day stretched onward, but shadows of uncertainty echoed deep within. A question remained. Would they be able to recognize the miracles bound in rest, or would doubt seep in and cloud their journey? Sarah sat on the bench, her heart full as she watched David play. The laughter he brought felt sacred, a balm soothing the edges of uncertainty. John joined her, his arm casually draping over her shoulders, drawing her closer. Together, they took a moment to breathe in the essence of the day, sunlight dancing on the leaves, the crisp whisper of a gentle breeze. "Isn't it incredible?" John mused, eyes sparkling. "How something as simple as a sunny day at the park can make everything feel right." "It really is," Sarah smiled, feeling the warmth. "It's as if God is reminding us to lean on joy even while storms swirl around us." Just then, David scurried over, his cheeks rosy from fresh air and play. "Mom, look at my sandcastle," he exclaimed, pointing with pride. Her heart swelled again, and she knelt to examine the little fortress. It wasn't much, just splattered mounds of wet sand, but to David, it was a masterpiece. "It's beautiful, sweetheart, just like you," she beamed, enveloping him in a hug. In that moment, David's delight seemed to cast away doubt, like shadows retreating from daylight. She considered the simple joy surrounding them, the sunlight drenching the park, laughter echoing, and love wrapping around their family tightly. As the sun dipped lower, painting the sky with warm hues of amber and pink, Sarah felt a pull toward the path that wound through the trees. "Let's take a walk," she suggested to John, and together they strolled, keeping David close. Each step felt like wandering deeper into harmony, the worries shedding like leaves turning to dust. "Do you think the doctor feels as anxious as we do?" John asked suddenly. "Maybe. Maybe not," Sarah replied, thinking. "But what if we could show him how faith changes the game? How each step in joy brings us 1 inch closer to healing?" John nodded, and for a moment they exchanged the weight of unspoken thoughts. Sarah felt compelled to believe that there was a divine purpose sewn into their journey, even if the path seemed unclear. As they walked, the older woman approached them again, pausing her knitting momentarily. "You three are truly a picture of joy," she smiled, her eyes glistening. "Thank you," Sarah replied, feeling warmth spread through her. "We're just trying to focus on the good, you know?" The woman smiled, knowingly. "Yes, my dear. Sometimes it's the simplest moments that cradle the most profound transformations. Hidden miracles lie wrapped in laughter, if only we choose to see." Words settled gently in Sarah's heart, stirring a deeper understanding. A sudden thought struck her. What if those moments of joy were not just fleeting, but powerful seeds of hope, capable of sprouting into something miraculous? "David, what do you love most about today?" she asked suddenly, looking at her son, who was now twirling joyfully in the grass. "Everything. The swings, my sandcastle, and having you both here." He giggled, arms wide. His innocent perspective sliced through the complexity of adult fears, reminding Sarah that their faith journey was not meant to bog them down, but to lift them up. "That's right, buddy," John interjected, ruffling David's hair. "Every good thing is a gift from above." As the sky turned deep hues of purple, Sarah stood for a moment, soaking in the magic around them. It felt like divine whispers were calling, urging her to trust the unseen. But then, just as the thought settled, doubt crept back in. What if they were merely clinging to false hope? Sensing her unrest, John squeezed her hand. "Whatever comes, we walk it together, in faith." "Yes," she breathed, holding on to that truth. "But what if we're on the brink of discovering something even greater?" A breeze stirred, sending a rush of leaves dancing through the air. Sarah's heart raced. The moment felt electric, as though a new unfolding was imminent. But would they have the courage to embrace it when it came? Deep in thought, she gazed toward the horizon, where stars would soon emerge, signs of promise and mystery yet to be revealed. A question hovered, waiting to burst forth. What miraculous gifts awaited them in their journey of healing? As the first twinkling stars began to punctuate the evening sky, Sarah felt an exhilarating mix of anticipation and vulnerability course through her. Each star seemed like a promise, a testament to the unseen miracles that waited just beyond the veil of their daily lives. They walked slowly, heartbeats synchronizing with the rhythm of the soft wind against their skin. David danced ahead, a small footloose figure utterly caught in the joy of the moment. "Look, Mom! The stars are coming out!" he shouted, pointing upwards with a wide grin. His innocence shone brighter than the celestial bodies above, and in that moment it struck Sarah how truly profound, childlike faith could be. "Yes, they are, sweetheart, and they proclaim wonderful things," Sarah replied, feeling her heart swell. John glanced around, his face aglow with both worry and warmth. "And what about the unexpected?" he asked, the question hovering like light mist in the air. Sarah felt that familiar tug of uncertainty. "Sometimes the unexpected brings miracles we haven't imagined, doesn't it?" she mused, searching her husband's eyes for the reassurance they both craved. "Maybe we just need to remain open to whatever comes." "What about our worries?" John pressed gently, though his tone was nothing but soft. "Worries can wrap around us like chains," Sarah replied, the weight of truth heavy in her voice. "But faith can lift those chains, allowing us not just to endure, but to thrive." John looked at her, perhaps for a glimmer of that same faith he felt she was exuding. "But it's easier said than done." "True," she conceded. "Yet here's the thing. In our resting moments, we might just find clarity. Instead of pushing through with worry, maybe we need to embrace the stillness first. It's in that sacred pause we hear God's whispers best." They continued down the winding path, illuminated by the glow of street lamps, casting their soft light like gentle encouragements. Sarah remembered the wise words from that older woman at the park. Moments of joy. Were they really not just fleeting? Were they invitations to something larger? "David, what would you say if I told you a gift can come from resting?" she called out, watching him spin. "A gift?" he echoed, halting mid-twirl with wide eyes. "Like a new toy or ice cream?" "Not quite." She knelt down beside him. "Sometimes, when we stop and listen, when we rest, we can hear God's voice telling us there's more. It's not about ice cream, but the encouragement He gives us to dream bigger than any toy." David's eyes stared at her, considering her words. "Like growing taller?" His innocent question sent warmth flooding Sarah's heart. "Exactly. Just like trees grow towards the sky, we too can reach out for blessings beyond what we see right now." "Can I grow high in the stars?" David asked, excitement bubbling over. "Yes, my love. In faith you can reach those stars." Sarah chuckled, wrapping her arms around her quicksilver little boy. The warmth of that moment encapsulated the beauty of hope she wished for them all. But as they shifted gears into the deeper essence of family and faith, a quiet thought whispered to Sarah once more. What if restful obedience was the very key to unlocking these blessings? What if the act of trust could yield rewards and freedom from the shadows of doubt? As they neared the park's end, the evening air shifted, pregnant with promises of unexpected tomorrows. Sarah took a deep breath, enveloping the scent of blooming flowers. "Perhaps tonight we can reflect inwardly," she suggested, "and see what unveilings God has for us. Are we ready to rest and listen?" With John's silent agreement, the question reverberated through the air. Could they, together, embrace the divine mystery waiting just around the corner? Little by little, the shadows began to lift, but the question lingered. What truths awaited them in their search for rest and the miracles planted deep within? As the family settled onto a weathered bench beneath an oak tree, the stars above painted a serene backdrop to their quiet moment. David leaned against his mother's side, his eyelids growing heavy as he listened to the gentle hum of the night. This stillness enveloped them like a tender embrace, urging them to pause, to breathe, to reflect. John reached for Sarah's hand, his fingers intertwining with hers, a familiar warmth that spoke volumes more than words could convey. It seemed the night itself was urging them to unpack their unspoken worries. "What do we do next?" he whispered, almost as if breaking the spell of silence could shatter the delicate peace surrounding them. "Next, we simply listen," Sarah replied, her voice soft and intentional. "We've been rushing through our days, John. Perhaps we need to invite the unexpected into our hearts tonight. Let's remember that even in rest, God has a plan for us." David, now using his mother's lap as a pillow, let out a serene sigh. The trust embedded in his small figure, surrendering to sleep, reminded Sarah of a child's faith, deep and unwavering. It made her ponder. Was that childlike faith the very essence of what they sought? As the wind rustled the leaves overhead, a sudden thought crystallized in Sarah's mind. Real rest was more than mere slowing down. It was diving deep into the silence, letting the world fade, and allowing space for the divine to speak. What if, in that stillness, the worries of the day could dissipate? "Sometimes I think we forget how to be still," John mused, his brow furrowed. "We push on, thinking we're doing what's best. But what if in our striving, we miss his whispers?" Sarah nodded, contemplating the truth in her husband's words. When we worry, we carry burdens that were never meant for us. It's like holding sand. The tighter we grip, the faster it slips away. John closed his eyes briefly, as if trying to visualize each grain of sand lost to time. "So we need to learn to let go?" "Exactly." Sarah met his gaze, her heart blooming with joy. "To let our faith be bigger than our fears. It's in that releasing that we can truly receive. Our Father is always waiting for us to take that first step." In that moment, David stirred, blinking up at his parents with sleepy eyes. "Are we going to grow high in the stars now?" he inquired, innocence wrapped around each word. His light-hearted question pierced through the heaviness of the evening, and laughter bubbled between them. "Yes, my love," Sarah replied, a smile breaking across her face. "Our faith can take us higher than we've ever imagined." As the night deepened, a soft glow danced across the horizon, hinting at the dawn yet to come. They realized that the night held more than just stars. It carried whispers of hope and hints of guidance for the journeys ahead. It was a reminder that even in unknowing, there was divine purpose. "Tomorrow, let's seek those unveilings together," John suggested, inspiration taking root. "Let's not just trust in our own understanding, but in the adventures God has planned for us. Yes, let's allow ourselves to dream and to find ways to manifest those dreams," Sarah added, her spirit igniting. As they embraced this new perspective, little David snuggled closer, finding comfort not just in their presence, but in the air of expectancy surrounding them. It was here, in the simplicity of a family united by faith, that a new belief took shape. Yet as the stars twinkled above, the question lingered in Sarah's heart. What would the revelations of tomorrow reveal? What divine messages awaited them just beyond their dreams? In the stillness, they chuckled at the mystery that lay ahead, ready to awaken not just to a new day, but to new adventures, together. As dawn began to stretch its golden fingers across the sky, the family awoke to a world glimmering with possibility. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting delicate patterns on the ground, as if nature herself painted a picture of hope. Sarah stirred first, her heart already racing with expectant joy. Today held the promise of unveiling. "Wake up, sleepyheads," she said, her voice bright and cheerful. "The day is calling us." David rubbed his eyes, still clinging to the remnants of sleep, but the excitement in his mother's tone quickly roused him. John, still groggy, lifted his head and caught the encouraging energy swirling around them. In that moment, it was as if the sun brought not just light, but clarity, the kind of clarity that calls one to adventure. "Are we really going to grow high in the stars?" David asked, his eyes sparkling with anticipation. "Even higher, my little dreamer," John responded, ruffling his son's hair. "Today is a day of discovery." They packed a picnic basket with care, each family member contributing their favorite snacks, filling it with love and intention. As they ventured into the morning, John noticed how the world seemed alive and inviting. Birds chirped melodiously, and flowers unfurled their petals, welcoming the warmth of sunlight. It was a symphony of divine creation whispering, "Step forward in faith." Their walk led them through meadows and wooded trails, the air filled with the scent of blooming jasmine and fresh-cut grass. Children's laughter echoed nearby, and David's delight grew with every step. He chased butterflies, his sweet giggles intertwining with the rustling leaves, creating a joyous choir that lifted the family's spirits higher. "Look," David exclaimed, pointing to a field blanketed in wildflowers. "This is like the stars on the ground." "Exactly," Sarah replied, her voice filled with wonder. "The Lord created beauty all around us, even here." As they sat down to enjoy their picnic, the air shifted. An unexpected breeze whispered through the grass, and for a moment everything felt heightened. A stillness settled around them, inviting them to reflect. "Do you remember what we talked about last night?" John asked, his gaze sweeping over Sarah and David. "About listening?" David prompted, his innocent curiosity shining. Sarah nodded, her heart pounding with the thrill of collective understanding. "What if this is our time to hear from God? What if He wants to show us something today?" Suddenly, a large, vibrant butterfly alighted on David's shoulder. It sat there, wings open wide, radiating colors that danced like light itself. The child's eyes grew round with amazement. "Mom, Dad, look, it's beautiful," he exclaimed, enchantment lacing his voice. "God's creations are often reminders," Sarah mused. "Perhaps this butterfly is a message. Just as it transforms, so can we. We need to let go of old fears and embrace new beginnings. David, mesmerized, gently cupped his hands around the butterfly, careful not to frighten it. In that still moment, they realized the butterfly seemed to pulse with a quiet energy, as if echoing their shared understanding. It was tangible proof of faith manifesting, a blessing springing forth from their release. As they sat in awe, John leaned closer to his wife. What if the very act of trusting the divine plan opens up new pathways we hadn't seen before? When we embrace the unexpected, miracles happen. Sarah's gaze shifted from the butterfly to the sky, a prayer forming in her heart. She realized their family was not just learning to dream, they were learning to step into the vibrant reality of those dreams. And as the butterfly finally took off, soaring into the azure expanse, the family was left with a lingering thought. What other miracles awaited them, hidden just beyond the horizon, ready to be unveiled? Would their faith carry them further than they could ever imagine? The day was unfolding, a canvas fresh with divine promise, and it was clear. This journey had only just begun. As the butterflies flitted away into the day, a new sensation bloomed in the hearts of the family. The air was thick with a warmth that felt like a hug from heaven, wrapping around them in an embrace of reassurance. They finished their picnic, laughter mingling with the soft rustling of leaves. David beamed, his cheeks flush with joy, the simple thrill of a day spent together deepening their bond. "Can we explore more?" David asked, eyes wide and eager. "There's so much to see." "Oh, there's a path that leads to the brook. Would you like to see that?" John replied, excitement rising in his voice. "Yes, let's go." David clapped his hands together like a tiny conductor leading an orchestra of discovery. As they set off down the winding path, the family engaged with their surroundings. Birds sang, their melodies weaving a tapestry of sound that elevated the spirit. Sunbeams broke through the canopy, casting shimmering spots of light that danced playfully on the forest floor. Everything felt charged with life, as if the trees themselves whispered secrets of the divine. When they finally reached the brook, it was as though they stumbled upon a hidden realm. The water sparkled like liquid crystal as it flowed over smooth stones, creating a melody that invited stillness and contemplation. Sarah knelt by the edge, dipping her fingers into the cool water, feeling a rush of clarity wash over her. "Just listen," she urged the children, her voice softening. "This water is a heartbeat of God's creation. There are lessons here if we open our hearts." David, splashing the water playfully, looked over at his parents, curious. "What can we learn?" "Patience," John answered, joining them at the brook. "The water finds its way no matter the obstacles. It teaches us resilience and trust. Just like in our lives, we must believe we can navigate through challenges." "Just like the butterfly," David added, nodding slowly, his young mind quickly understanding. Sarah smiled, filled with pride at their growing insights. "Yes, exactly. Every challenge is an opportunity presented by God. How we respond shapes our journey." The family shared a moment of silence, soaking in the sacred atmosphere. Just then, John spotted something shining beneath the water's surface. He bent down, reaching into the brook, and pulled out a smooth, glimmering stone. "Look at this," he exclaimed, holding it up to the light, the sun striking it like a divine spotlight. In that moment, all eyes were drawn to the stone, its beauty captivating. "It's a treasure!" David exclaimed, bouncing on his feet. "Just like us," Sarah added, feeling emotions swell within her. "Sometimes we need to go through turbulent waters to find our true brilliance." With fresh awe, Sarah gathered her family close. "Let us remember this treasure this day. May it remind us to seek the beauty in every situation, knowing that even challenges can help us shine." As they started the journey back, a feeling of contentment surged, a connection deeper than words could express. Each step they took was a testament to their new understanding, a shared revelation. It deepened their faith that miracles often come disguised in ordinary moments, ready to be discovered. But as the sun dipped towards the horizon, casting a golden glow in the twilight, a new question emerged among the family. What if the greatest treasure they sought was not just the beauty found in the brook, but a more profound revelation hovering just out of sight? What deeper mysteries lay ahead, waiting to be unveiled in their journey of faith? As twilight blanketed the horizon, the family's journey took on a new hue. They walked the path home, hearts alive with understanding and anticipation, each step a beat in the rhythm of hope. Sarah could feel the gentle tugging of divine promise pulling her forward, urging her to embrace what was yet unseen. The laughter still rang in the air, a sweet melody echoing within them. David skipped along, chasing fireflies as if each flicker of light held a piece of magic waiting to be grasped. "Look, Mom, they're dancing with us," he exclaimed, easily capturing the essence of childhood wonder. "Yes, sweetheart. They are reminding us that joy can illuminate even the darkest nights," Sarah replied, her voice filled with warmth. Every smile from David felt like a mirror of their faith, pure, unfiltered, and radiant. "Tomorrow we can return and look for more treasures, can't we?" John suggested, an eagerness settling within his tone. "Of course, every day is an opportunity, isn't it?" Sarah beamed, and she reflected on how this simple day had woven threads of divine assurance into their lives. Here was affirmation that seeking rest and joy could transform their perception, allowing expectant faith to bloom. That night, as darkness wrapped around their home like a comforting shawl, the family gathered once more. The air was thick with the shared experience of the day. They settled around the table, the aroma of simple meals mingling with laughter. "Let's pray," Sarah instructed, her heart swelling with gratitude. They clasped hands, a woven tapestry of hope. "Thank you, Lord, for every moment that reminds us of your goodness. Help us to embrace the journey ahead, knowing that you are guiding us." After the amen resonated through the room, a quiet hush fell, pregnant with anticipation. "Mom, can we talk about the treasure again?" David's eager voice sliced through the silence. "Absolutely, my love," Sarah replied. "What did it teach you?" "It was shiny and smooth, just like us being happy can help others," he declared, eyes twinkling with innocence. John nodded in agreement. "Exactly. Every day we find our worth, and we can share that with others, just like that stone." Sarah gazed at her family, touched by the unity of their understanding. The butterflies of doubt fluttered less aggressively in her chest. Here, at this table, she felt the potency of their shared faith, a bond that transcended their earlier fears. As they cleaned up, Sarah's heart felt buoyed. She excused herself for a moment, stepping into the hallway where soft breaths mingled with the familiar sounds of home. With eyes lifted heavenward, she whispered, "Lord, I trust you." The stillness wrapped around her like a cherished promise. The next morning dawned bright and clear, painting their kitchen in hues of hope. Sarah sprang to life, the spirit of expectancy humming within her. She prepared breakfast, her hands moving with purpose, believing in God's gentle nudge to treat each moment with sacred significance. "David! John!" she called, her voice filled with excitement. "After breakfast, let's meditate a little before the day starts. We need to mark the beginning of something new." Together, the family settled in a cozy corner, sunlight spilling in like God's presence cradling them. As they closed their eyes, Sarah guided them through a moment of stillness. "Let's simply listen," she invited, encouraging them to breathe deeply. "Let God reveal each promise hidden within our journey." Time slowed. The household sounds faded, enveloping them in a blanket of peace. The room became a sanctuary, filled with divine whispers. In that stillness, Sarah felt her heart align with a greater truth. She was reminded that faith wasn't about having all the answers. It was about resting in the assurance that God was in control, drawing them closer to miracles unfolding in their lives. Finally, David broke the silence with an innocent giggle. "I can hear our hearts." Laughter erupted, and Sarah opened her eyes, her heart ablaze. Yes, sweetheart. Our hearts beat together in joy, grounded in love and trust. With breakfast fueling their adventure, they ventured into the world outside, open to what awaited them. As they explored familiar grounds, Sarah looked at the vibrant flowers, the shimmering brook, and the flutter of butterflies. She felt a divine awakening. "Mom," David exclaimed, "if we find treasure in every day, do you think we'll find a miracle?" She paused, holding on to his gaze. "Yes, my dear," she exclaimed, excitement bursting in her heart. "And sometimes the biggest miracles come when we least expect them." That evening, under a star-studded sky, they shared stories, each tale an affirmation of faith, a testament to their journey of rest, trust, and surrender. The day danced within them, a mosaic of divine grace. And so, as the stars flickered above, the echo of their laughter rang out, a promise that they were never alone on this sacred journey. Together they chose to live in trust, knowing that every step, every moment, was laced with divine purpose. As they took these steps in faith, the mystery of tomorrow lay ahead, waiting to be revealed, a tapestry woven with challenges, rest, love, and abundant miracles continuing to unfold with every passing day. Together, they would thread the needle of faith through the fabric of life, feeding their souls and transforming their world with each choice they made. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and testimonies about this glorious ending, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even one more second to share, because only true servants of God understand the importance of supporting this channel through these actions.